You close your eyes, and the darkness feels warm, like the soft hush of early dawn when the goats are still too sleepy to bleat. You step quietly into ancient Greece, sandals brushing over dusty stone, the air smelling faintly of olives and sheep and the crisp sea breeze that never quite leaves these hills. The cicadas hum in the distance, like an old kettle you forgot on the fire, but softer, lulling, as if they know it's almost time for sleep. You walk past crooked walls with vines reaching for sunlight, and you hear soft voices behind thin doors. People arguing gently about bread prices, about who saw what at the agora, about the best way to bribe an oracle for a decent prophecy. You probably won't make it through this day. If you're still awake, I'd love for you to like this video and subscribe to this sleepy channel where we wander history together, slowly, softly, with fewer shouting generals and more sandals flapping in dusty streets. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there, so we can share a yawn across time zones. Now, let's ease into tonight's journey. The Oracle you're here to see is not in some shining marble temple with grand columns. She lives at the edge of a sleepy village, her house so small it's hard to tell where the house ends and the herb garden begins. She's called the Oracle of Crumbs, not because she is poor, though she isn't rich either, but because she gives advice using breadcrumbs. Literally, people bring her bread, and she tears it into bits, tossing them onto a wooden tray, while whispering prayers to Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, whoever feels like listening that day. Then she squints, nods, and tells you whether you should marry the shepherd's daughter or buy the neighbor's goat. You can't help but wonder if it's really the gods, or if she's just noticing who baked better bread that morning. A major historical fact: oracles were everywhere in Greece, not just at Delphi, and local seers were often women using everyday rituals: oil drops in water, bird flights, even how dough cracked in the oven, to divine your fate. An obscure cultural tidbit: many Greek households had tiny shrines above the bread oven, where they left the first crumbs as an offering to Hestia, the goddess of the hearth, hoping she would keep their bread from burning, or, at the very least, help them avoid the shame of lumpy loaves at market day. Historians still debate whether these folk oracles truly believed the gods spoke through breadcrumbs, or whether it was just the most reliable way to tell someone no without getting blamed. You walk up to her small, smoky house, noticing how the wind carries the scent of thyme and charred wheat crust. She doesn't look up right away. She's busy watching how the crumbs settle. You stand there, unsure if you should speak, until she finally lifts her eyes, gray as dawn clouds, and says, "Ah, you have questions." You do, but you're not even sure what they are yet. Outside, the village goes about its slow rhythm, water jars clanking, a dog barking, the air vibrating with heat as the sun leans lazily across the hills. You watch a child drop a basket of figs, giggle, and pick them up, sticky and half-dusty, without a care. You wait, the oracle's soft humming filling the tiny room, while she pushes a few more crumbs into patterns only she can read. And you realize, standing there in the quiet, bread-scented air, that you're already drifting softly into the long day of ancient Greece. The oracle finally gestures you closer. You step carefully, as if the floor might creak in a house made of dry air and whispers. She points to a scatter of crumbs and says, "These show a journey." her voice the gentle rustle of linen on stone. You try to see what she sees, but to you it looks like breakfast leftovers. Outside, the breeze carries laughter, and the distant bray of a donkey refusing to move, as donkeys do. A goat sniffs your ankle, decides you're not worth nibbling, and wanders off. You feel a tiny drop of sweat run down your back, the sun turning the dusty path outside into a warm, comforting haze that could almost lull you to sleep. Ah, she says, poking a crumb with a twig. This one means you're looking for something, or someone, but you're not sure if it's worth the walk. She smiles, and it's the kind of smile old women have when they know exactly what you're feeling, even when you don't say it aloud. A major historical fact. Ancient Greek daily life was a rhythm of marketplaces, olive pressing, and public baths, but also constant small rituals, libations of wine, crumbs to Hestia, whispers to Hermes at crossroads, woven seamlessly into each hour. An obscure, cultural tidbit. Many Greeks believed dreams were messages from the gods, so they often slept in temples hoping for clear dreams to guide them. If that sounds like a vacation excuse, well, it was. Some temples even charged for the privilege of sleeping on their sacred floors. Historians still debate whether these dreams genuinely guided people's lives or were simply what you get after too much wine, goat cheese, and the anxiety of unpaid taxes. Follow the crumbs, the oracle says softly. They will lead you. And then she returns to her work, ignoring you entirely, as if the advice she's given is obvious. You step outside, squinting at the sun that sits fat and heavy in the sky. You walk through the village, the dusty road warm under your feet, passing women with baskets of figs and pottery jars, men arguing over the best olives, children kicking pebbles down the road. Remember the street you walked past earlier? It's back, still dusty, still lined with crooked doorways where sleepy cats blink at you. You follow an old path uphill, past a tiny shrine made of stacked stones, where someone has left a single black olive and a sprig of rosemary. The wind teases the rosemary, and the scent drifts to you, sharp and comforting. The crumbs you dropped, accidentally or on purpose, lead you to a ridge where the sea is a soft blue bruise against the horizon. You sit down on a sun-warmed rock, feeling the heat soak into your tired bones, and you let your eyelids droop as the cicadas hum a sleepy lullaby. The oracle's words echo. Follow the crumbs. You glance at the crumbs you still hold in your palm, wondering if they will truly guide you, or if they are just crumbs after all. A sheep bleats in the distance. Someone calls for their child to come in for lunch, and the world feels small and safe, wrapped in a haze of sun and salt air. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the ancient world breathe around you, the soft promise of a nap tucked inside each warm breeze, each hum of a cicada, each slow, careful step you take down the dusty road toward wherever your crumbs might lead you next. You wake with a start, as a goat nose nudges your hand, sniffing for the crumbs you forgot you were holding. The sea below sighs softly, gulls calling as they drift lazily on the breeze, and the sky is that relentless blue that makes you wonder if it has ever rained here. You stand, brushing dust from your tunic, and the goat gives you a disappointed look before wandering off to chew a bush. You walk back down the ridge, following a winding path lined with dry grass and the occasional twist of thyme underfoot, releasing its sharp scent. You pass a boy balancing an amphora on his head, wobbling with the exaggerated caution of a cat walking a fence, determined to prove he can carry water like the adults. You nod at him. He grins, then nearly drops it, recovering with a flourish only children can manage. The oracle's words, "Follow the crumbs," echo with every step. You check your palm, only a few crumbs left, clinging stubbornly, and you wonder if they'll fall in the right places on their own. It would be nice if destiny worked that way, wouldn't it? You pass a small olive grove, where an old man prunes the trees with careful, tender movements, humming under his breath. You pause to watch him, the silver leaves rustling like soft applause as he clips away dry twigs. You watching for a reason? He calls out with a grin, sweat glistening on his brow. You shrug, telling him you're following crumbs. He laughs. Aren't we all, friend? Aren't we all? A major historical fact. Olive oil was the lifeblood of the Greek economy, used for cooking, lighting lamps, and as a base for perfumes. Wealth was often measured by the number of olive trees a family owned, and groves were tended with religious care. An obscure cultural tidbit. Some Greeks believed olive trees could protect against evil spirits, tying small amulets or scraps of red cloth to branches to ward off curses, much like you might hang a garlic braid by your door or scroll mindlessly before bed, warding off your own restless mind. Historians still debate whether these protective charms were more about community identity or genuine fear of spirits that, supposedly, liked to ride the winds at dusk. You continue down the path, brushing past olive branches, the breeze cool under the branches' shade, the cicadas humming their slow song of heat and drowsiness. The crumbs drop, one by one as you walk, sticking to your fingers, falling into the dust, marking a path you hope will mean something. At the edge of the grove, you come to a crossroads where a small shrine sits, stacked stones forming a crude pillar with a tiny clay figure of Hermes, perched on top, eyes wide, hat slightly chipped. Someone has left a few coins and a handful of barley, and you feel a tug to do the same, slipping a crumb down beside the barley. The breeze picks up, ruffling your hair, almost like a gentle pat on your shoulder, urging you onward. You walk past the shrine, feeling lighter somehow, as if you've left behind a tiny piece of your uncertainty with that crumb. The road bends, revealing a stretch of quiet countryside with poppies nodding in the breeze, the red petals bright against the green. Remember the oracle's house, that tiny, smoky room with the scent of thyme and bread? It feels far behind you now, but her words still carry in the rhythm of your footsteps, a soft whisper in the warm wind that pushes you forward down the dusty road. Toward the next crumb, the road curves again, leading you to a sleepy village where the air smells of warm bread and sheep, and you hear the soft clatter of pottery from a nearby workshop. You pause to watch a potter's apprentice smoothing clay on a wheel, her hands moving in slow circles, shaping the pot as if coaxing a dream into something solid. She glances up, smiles, and says, "Don't mind the noise," as a rooster crows aggressively behind her, reminding everyone who owns the dawn. You smile back, stepping aside as she carries the fresh clay pot to a sunlit ledge, letting the warm breeze begin its slow, invisible work. A dog sleeps in the shade nearby, twitching occasionally, perhaps chasing goats in its dreams. You step carefully over its outstretched paws, continuing past small homes with open windows where the scent of garlic and herbs drifts lazily into the street, carried by the warm air. A major historical fact: pottery in ancient Greece wasn't just functional, it was an art form used to store oil, wine, and grain, and decorated with stories of gods and heroes, daily life, and the occasional comedic donkey painted mid-bray, reminding everyone that even myths needed a laugh, an obscure cultural tidbit. Some potters marked their pots with a thumbprint on the bottom before firing them, a quiet, personal signature that would last long after they were gone, almost like a made-by-me sticker. Before stickers were a thing, historians still debate whether these signatures were a mark of pride, ownership, or simply a way to track who owed whom a favor. In the tight-knit pottery guilds of each town, you follow the street toward the village's edge, the path narrowing between stone walls where vines creep and twist, their leaves flickering like small green flags in the breeze. The air cools as you pass under a fig tree, the thick leaves providing a patch of shade, the figs hanging heavy and dark, almost ready to drop. You reach the outskirts where a small fountain gurgles, water trickling from the mouth of a stone lion into a shallow basin. You pause, dipping your fingers into the cool water, letting it slide across your skin, the small ripples glinting in the sunlight. A child rushes up, cupping water to drink, before dashing away, laughing, leaving tiny wet footprints in the dust. You sit on the low wall beside the fountain, letting the breeze dry your damp fingers, crumbs still caught under your nails, your thoughts drifting with the slow flow of the water. Remember the crumbs you dropped earlier by the olive grove? A bird hops nearby, pecking at something in the dust, reminding you that nothing, not even a crumb, goes to waste in this place. You close your eyes, listening to the fountain's gentle splash, the cicadas humming, the distant murmur of villagers going about their slow, everyday tasks, and you feel the warm hush of the day settling around you, a blanket of sun and soft air. The oracle's voice drifts back, like the breeze, follow the crumbs. And for a moment, you almost believe that each small choice, each crumb dropped, each gentle step forward on this warm, dusty road will carry you exactly where you need to go, softly, quietly, into the next stretch of your journey. You open your eyes as the breeze shifts, carrying the scent of rosemary and warm dust. The fountains gurgle, fading behind you as you stand. The road ahead is bright under the late morning sun, pebbles sparkling, a lazy heat curling off the ground in soft, wavy lines. You take a step, then another, your sandals making a soft whisper against the dusty path, crumbs clinging to your fingertips, reminding you of the oracle's promise. The village thins out quickly, replaced by fields of barley, swaying in the breeze like a restless golden sea. A few shepherds lean against their staffs, watching over clusters of sheep that move like drifting clouds, bells jingling softly with every nudge and shuffle. One shepherd nods as you pass, his wide-brimmed hat casting shadows over eyes that seem both tired and amused. "Watch your crumbs," he says with a grin, pointing to the ground where a curious lamb sniffs at your path. A major historical fact: barley was a staple grain in ancient Greece, forming the base of porridge, bread, and even beer, and was sometimes used as currency for small transactions. It was so important that the goddess Demeter was worshipped with offerings of barley, tying harvest and faith together in every meal. An obscure cultural tidbit: In some villages, it was common to sprinkle a few barley grains into the family hearth fire at dawn to bring luck for the day, a tiny gesture of hope that today would bring enough warmth, enough bread, and a few moments of peace. Historians still debate whether these dawn rituals were acts of faith or simply habits that soothed anxious minds facing another long day of hard work under the sun. You continue down the road, the barley brushing your fingertips as you pass, a soft rasping sound that feels like the purring of the earth itself. A lark sings overhead, its song high and bright, filling the sky with a melody that makes your chest feel lighter, as if your breath matches the rise and fall of its wings. A bend in the road reveals a small shrine to Demeter, a stone ledge with carved wheat sheaves and tiny offerings left behind, figs, a few olives, and yes, even a handful of barley grains glinting in the sunlight. You add a crumb to the pile, the breeze lifting your hair as if in quiet approval. Remember the olive grove you passed? The warmth of the branches, the hush of the leaves. The road here feels similar, lined with low stone walls and vines, the world narrowing gently into a corridor of green. Your steps are slow, matching the slow hush of the wind, the gentle rustle of barley, the warm scent of sunlit fields, the comforting weight of a day that does not demand urgency. The oracle's voice whispers in your memory, "Follow the crumbs." So you do, one quiet step at a time, your eyes half lidded in the bright light, the hum of insects and distant bird song wrapping around you like a warm, sleepy blanket. The road dips into a shallow valley where the air feels cooler, shaded by tall cypress trees, standing like dark sentinels against the blue sky. Their scent is sharp, clean, the breeze carrying it with a hint of pine and earth. You pause, leaning against one of the trees, feeling its rough bark under your palm, grounding you in this slow, soft moment. Ahead, you see a small stream winding its way through the valley, the water clear, tumbling over smooth stones, sunlight flashing in tiny mirrors with each ripple. You step closer, hearing the gurgle and splash, the small sounds that stitch themselves into the quiet, reminding you that even here, the world is never truly silent. A major historical fact: streams and springs were considered sacred in many parts of Greece, often associated with nymphs, minor goddesses believed to inhabit the water, trees, and rocks. People would leave small offerings, hoping for blessings of health, safe travels, or even just a good fishing day. An obscure cultural tidbit: in some villages, people believed that dipping a piece of bread into a stream before eating it would bring luck, ensuring that the water spirits would protect the household from illness and drought. Historians still debate whether these offerings were widespread customs or local quirks, passed down through families as a comforting ritual during uncertain times. You sit on a warm rock by the stream, dipping your fingers into the cool water, letting it run over your skin, feeling the way it carries the heat away, leaving behind a soft, tingling calm. A dragonfly flits past, its wings catching the sunlight in brief flashes of blue and green, landing on a reed before darting away again. Restless, a reminder that even small things are busy in this quiet world. Remember the crumbs you've been dropping? One slips from your fingers, carried away by the stream, spinning and swirling before disappearing under a mossy stone. You watch it go, wondering where it might end up. If a nymph might notice, if the water will carry your quiet hope to a place you can't see yet, the breeze shifts, rustling the reeds, carrying the warm scent of the fields you left behind, and you close your eyes, letting the sounds and scents of this place sink into you. The oracle's words return, softer now. Follow the crumbs, as if even the water itself whispers the reminder. You stand, the last drops of water falling from your fingers, and step back onto the path, the stream burbling behind you as you continue your slow journey. The valley opens up ahead, a small wooden bridge crossing the water, creaking softly under your steps as you cross. Beyond, the land rises again, small olive trees scattered across the hillside, and you begin to climb, your steps slow but steady, the sky wide above you, the breeze cool and constant, the world holding you gently as you walk, following the crumbs, one quiet breath at a time. You climb slowly, the slope gentle but persistent, your breath matching the quiet rhythm of your steps, in and out, like the soft hush of the sea you left behind. The path winds between low stone terraces where grapevines stretch toward the sun, their leaves rustling with each breeze, the air filled with the warm scent of earth and the faint sweetness of ripening grapes. You pause to rest under a twisted olive tree, its branches offering dappled shade, the ground beneath littered with dry leaves that crunch softly as you shift your weight. In the distance, you hear the gentle call of doves, their cooing blending with the hum of insects, creating a sleepy melody that seems to wrap around you, pulling your eyelids heavy. A major historical fact: viticulture was essential in ancient Greece, with wine being a staple at nearly every meal and central to social gatherings, religious rituals, and trade. The Greeks even had a god of wine, Dionysus, whose festivals were filled with music, dancing, and a fair amount of questionable decisions under the influence. An obscure cultural tidbit: some grape farmers believed that hanging small clay figurines in the vineyards would protect the grapes from pests and jealous neighbors' curses, the figurines swaying gently in the breeze like quiet guardians. Historians still debate whether these vineyard charms were as serious spiritual practices or just early pest deterrence with a touch of superstition to ease the worry of bad harvests. You pluck a single grape from a low-hanging vine, rolling it between your fingers before tasting its sun-warmed sweetness, the juice bursting softly, leaving a gentle tang on your tongue. You smile, remembering the oracle's voice, follow the crumbs, and you wonder if she meant literal crumbs, or if every small moment, every sweet grape, every warm breeze is a crumb in itself. The path continues upward, the terraces giving way to wildflowers that nod in the breeze, splashes of yellow, purple, and white against the green slopes. Bees move lazily from flower to flower, heavy with pollen, humming a slow song that feels almost like a lullaby if you listen long enough. Remember the stream you crossed earlier? Its clear water carrying away your crumb? Here, a small trickle runs alongside the path, the water slipping over stones with a gentle gurgle, following you as you climb. You glance down, seeing your reflection, the sunlight dancing in the ripples, reminding you that you are here now, in this quiet journey, step by slow step. At the top of the slope, you find a small stone bench, worn smooth by countless visitors who, like you, needed a moment to rest. You sit, the breeze brushing your face, the scent of thyme and warm earth in the air. and you let your eyes close, the sun wrapping around you in a comforting warmth. You may not know exactly where the crumbs will lead, but for now, in this moment, on this quiet hillside in ancient Greece, you let yourself trust the slow, steady path beneath your feet. The wind shifts, carrying the distant sound of a flute, its notes drifting across the hillside like the gentle ripple of water, soft and clear. You open your eyes, letting the melody guide you as you stand and continue down the path, your sandals brushing against the dry grass, the air warm but not heavy, each breath slow, each step deliberate. Ahead, you see a shepherd boy perched on a rock, playing the flute, his flock scattered across the slope, grazing quietly. He pauses to wave, then continues his tune, the notes weaving into the soundscape of insects, doves, and the whisper of the breeze, creating a moment that feels timeless, unhurried, as if even the air is listening. A major historical fact: music was an integral part of Greek daily life, present in work, worship, celebrations, and even while tending flocks, with the lyre and flute being among the most common instruments used to pass the slow hours of the day. An obscure cultural tidbit: some shepherds believed that playing music could protect their flocks from predators, the melodies acting as a charm against wolves and spirits that roamed the hills under moonlight. Historians still debate whether these protective songs were believed to hold magical power or if they simply soothed the shepherd's nerves on long, lonely nights under the stars. You continue walking, the flute's melody slowly fading as you pass, replaced by the soft hush of the wind and the rustle of dry leaves. The path curves, leading you into a small grove of fig trees, their broad leaves casting shade on the dusty ground. The air cooler here, filled with the sweet scent of ripening figs. Remember the fountain you stopped at earlier, dipping your fingers into the cool water? The stream here is smaller, hidden among the roots of the fig trees, its trickle a quiet companion as you walk, reminding you that even in the heat of the day, there is always a place to find a cool breath of air. You pause to pick a fig, its skin soft, the fruit warm from the sun. You taste it slowly, the sweetness filling your mouth, the moment grounding you, reminding you of the small joys that stitch themselves into the fabric of each day, even in the slow, ancient world you walk through now. A breeze stirs the branches, and a few figs drop softly to the ground, a quiet reminder that everything has its time, that even sweetness has a moment when it must fall to feed the earth, to nourish the roots, to begin again. You sit for a moment under the fig tree, letting the dappled light dance across your skin, letting the scent of the leaves and fruit anchor you in this slow, gentle afternoon. The oracle's words come back, follow the crumbs, and you smile, realizing that each sweet bite, each step forward, each quiet pause under a tree is a crumb you're meant to follow. The wind sighs through the grove, carrying the soft promise of rest, of slow hours spent in quiet reflection, of the gentle certainty that you are exactly where you need to be, here, now, under the fig trees of ancient Greece, following the soft, unseen trail laid out before you, one crumb at a time. The breeze carries the sweet, earthy scent of the fig grove as you rise, brushing dust from your palms, your feet moving once more along the narrow path. The afternoon light has softened, painting the hills in warm golds and quiet greens, the shadows lengthening like the soft hush that settles over the world before evening. You walk past low stone walls where small lizards bask, their tiny chests pulsing with each rapid breath before they dart away at your approach. A few paces ahead, an old woman in a simple blue himation leans over a basket of herbs, sorting thyme and rosemary with practiced hands, the scent rising in a sharp, clean wave as she moves. She glances up, smiles without showing teeth, and says, "Ah, crumbs," nodding to your hands, as if she can see the invisible trail you carry. You smile back, unsure what to say, so you just nod, continuing your slow, steady walk past her, the basket's green fragrance lingering in the air behind you. A major historical fact: herbal medicine was deeply rooted in daily Greek life, with women often acting as healers, using infusions, poultices, and teas crafted from thyme, rosemary, sage, and mint to treat everything from fevers to sleeplessness. An obscure cultural tidbit. Some healers believed tying a sprig of thyme around the wrist would prevent nightmares, the scent acting as a soft guard against restless spirits that might slip into dreams uninvited. Historians still debate whether these herbal amulets were truly believed to hold magical properties, or simply provided the comforting familiarity of scent and ritual before sleep. You continue along the path, the herb's scent still dancing on the breeze, mingling with the warm air as you pass clusters of small houses, their clay walls glowing softly in the late afternoon sun. Children chase each other with shrieks of laughter, dodging around sleepy dogs and weaving between olive trees, their shadows skipping across the ground like small, joyful birds. Remember the shepherd's flute you heard earlier? Its melody drifting across the hills? You catch the faintest echo of it again now, so soft it feels like a memory, the tune carried on the breeze, weaving into the soft hush of the approaching evening. You pause near a small courtyard where a woman kneads dough on a low table, her hands moving in a slow, strong rhythm, the flour puffing gently into the air with each fold and press. The scent of baking bread drifts from a clay oven nearby, warm and comforting, pulling a soft hunger into your belly that feels like a reminder of home, even in this ancient place. Crumbs lead you where you need to go, the woman says softly, not looking up from her work, as if answering a question you didn't know you had asked. You watch the dough become smooth under her hands, a promise of tomorrow's bread, tomorrow's journey, tomorrow's crumbs to follow. The sun dips lower, casting the sky in shades of peach and lavender, the world shifting into that quiet, golden hush that comes before nightfall. You walk along the village edge, where a small olive press sits, its stones cool and smooth, the scent of crushed olives lingering in the air, with a soft bitterness that mixes with the sweetness of the approaching night. An old man works the press, turning the handle with slow, deliberate motions, the green-gold liquid dripping steadily into a clay jar, the rhythm of his work as quiet as the slow beating of a heart. He looks up, nods once, and says, "Olives remember everything," his voice a rasp like dry leaves in the wind. A major historical fact. Olive oil was not only essential for food and light in Greece, but also used in religious ceremonies and as a base for perfumes and ointments, making it a cornerstone of daily and spiritual life alike. An obscure cultural tidbit. Some Greeks believed that whispering wishes to the first press of fresh olive oil would carry those wishes to the gods, the oil acting as a soft messenger between the earthly and the divine. Historians still debate whether these whispered wishes were heartfelt spiritual acts or simply hopeful habits born from the long, slow hours spent pressing olives. You pause to watch the oil pool in the jar, the light catching its surface, turning it briefly into a mirror, reflecting the soft lavender sky. Your own face looking back at you, calm and quiet in the evening light. You drop a small crumb into the grass nearby. The oracle's words whispering softly follow the crumbs, reminding you that each small act, each quiet moment, is a step on your path. Remember the fig you ate earlier, its sweetness on your tongue? That sweetness still lingers, a reminder of the small, soft joys that guide you forward, even in the quietest moments. You continue along the path as the first stars begin to appear, pricking the deepening sky with points of soft light, the air cooling against your skin, carrying the scent of olives, thyme, and warm earth. A dog barks once in the distance, then falls silent, the village settling into its night rhythm as the cicadas begin their soft song once more. You find a low wall to sit on, the stones still warm from the sun, and you let yourself rest, the quiet of the evening wrapping around you like a soft blanket. The stars above seem to breathe with you, each inhale and exhale matching the gentle rise and fall of your shoulders. The crumbs you've dropped along your journey, forming an invisible path beneath the night sky. You close your eyes. The sound of the cicadas, the scent of herbs and earth, the memory of soft fig sweetness, all weaving together into a lullaby that holds you gently, reminding you that even here, in the quiet dark, you're exactly where you need to be. You open your eyes slowly as dawn begins its quiet work across the hills, painting soft pinks and sleepy golds over the dark shapes of olive trees and rooftops. The cicadas have gone silent, replaced by the soft calls of waking birds, their songs weaving with the early breeze that smells of cool earth and a distant sea. You rise from the warm stone wall, stretching, the world around you still half asleep, a hush of promise in the air as the first light spills across the path. Your sandals crunch softly over the dusty ground, the crumbs you carry now tucked gently in your palm, the oracle's words breathing with the dawn. Follow the crumbs. A major historical fact: early mornings in ancient Greece often began with small household rituals, offering a libation of wine or water to Hestia at the hearth before the day's work began, blending faith and daily necessity into a single quiet moment. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that the rooster's crow did not simply greet the dawn, but chased away evil spirits. Its sharp cry, a guardian call that pushed darkness away from the village. Historians still debate whether these dawn practices were widespread habits or quiet acts of hope, kept alive by families facing each new day's uncertainties. You pass a small courtyard where a young woman pours water onto the ground before her door, whispering a few words to the morning air before stepping back inside, the thin steam of her breath visible in the cool dawn. A rooster crows, as if agreeing with her quiet prayer, reminding the world that light has returned, that the day begins anew. The breeze carries the soft scent of baking bread again, mingling with the cool, sharp smell of dew-wet grass. You walk toward the edge of the village, past sleepy goats shaking off the last of their dreams, past a child clutching a piece of bread, crumbs dropping from his small hand onto the path. Remember the bread you saw kneaded by the woman in the courtyard, each fold and press a promise of tomorrow's meals. The warmth of that bread drifts through the morning air now, comforting, grounding you as you take another quiet step forward. You pause near a fig tree heavy with dew, the leaves glistening, the air damp and fresh, each breath filling your lungs with a promise of coolness before the sun climbs higher. The oracle's words echo again, softer. Follow the crumbs, and you realize it is not about where you are going, but about how you move, gently, quietly, with attention to each small moment. You continue down the road, the dawn unfolding around you, light filtering through olive branches, your path dappled with soft gold, the world waking softly as you walk toward whatever comes next, one quiet step, one small crumb at a time. The sun climbs, turning the pale dawn into warm light that spills over the hills and valleys, the air shifting from cool freshness to gentle warmth that kisses your skin with each step. The path curves toward the sea again, the air now carrying the faint scent of salt and the sound of gulls calling as they circle in the blue sky. You walk past small gardens where women bend to tend herbs and vegetables, their hands moving in practiced rhythms, pulling weeds, checking leaves, their quiet conversations drifting like soft threads in the morning breeze. A child giggles nearby, chasing a chicken that flaps indignantly, its wings brushing the dust into small clouds that sparkle in the sun. A major historical fact: gardens were common around Greek homes, providing vegetables, herbs, and medicinal plants that were essential for daily meals and remedies, with even small households growing what they could, often as a family task done in the cool morning hours. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that planting basil near the doorstep would protect the home from misfortune, the scent acting as a quiet guardian against bad luck and illness. Historians still debate whether these planting customs were rooted in deep religious belief, or if they simply added comfort and structure to the uncertainties of daily life. You pause to watch an old man pruning a row of basil and mint, his hands steady, his eyes focused, the breeze carrying the sharp, green scent toward you as he works. He hums softly, a tune without words, a melody that matches the gentle rhythm of the morning, the leaves falling like small blessings to the ground. Remember the grape you tasted under the vine, its sweetness warm from the sun? The air here carries that same promise of quiet joy, of the small sweetnesses that come with living slowly, paying attention to each breath, each scent, each cool breeze that stirs the leaves and carries your thoughts forward. You walk past the gardens, the sea growing closer, the sound of waves, a soft, endless hush that meets the breeze, joining the cicadas' waking song in a quiet symphony of morning. Your feet move easily over the path, each step a gentle promise to yourself, each breath a soft reminder that this journey is not about rushing, but about being. The oracle's voice drifts back like the breeze. Follow the crumbs, and you feel the warmth of the sun on your shoulders, the cool air against your skin, the small weight of the crumbs still in your palm, reminding you that each small step, each small offering to the day, is its own kind of wisdom. You find a low rock near the path, warmed by the rising sun, and you sit, letting the sound of the waves, the scent of basil, the softness of the air, and the hush of the world fill you with quiet calm. You let your eyes close, just for a moment, the warmth of the stone grounding you, the small, gentle rhythm of the day, carrying you softly like a lullaby into the slow unfolding of another ancient, quiet morning. You open your eyes to the soft glow of mid-morning, the sea now close enough that you can see the waves folding gently against the rocky shore, the white foam glinting in the sunlight like soft lace. The breeze carries the crisp scent of salt, tangling with the warmth of the earth and the faint sweetness of herbs drifting from gardens you've passed. You stand, brushing dust from your hands, and continue down the path toward the water, your sandals whispering against the stones, each step a quiet promise, each breath a soft greeting to the day that has fully opened around you. A major historical fact: seaside villages in ancient Greece relied on the sea not only for fish, but for salt, which was often harvested from shallow pools where seawater was left to evaporate under the sun, leaving behind the precious crystals that preserved food and added flavor to daily meals. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that tossing a pinch of salt into the waves could appease Poseidon, ensuring safe travels for fishermen and traders who depended on the sea's shifting moods. Historians still debate whether these small salt offerings were sincere gestures of faith or quiet rituals of hope, performed out of habit before each journey across the unpredictable waters. You walk along the beach, your feet sinking slightly into the warm sand, the tiny grains clinging to your skin as the waves lap close, the water cool and clear. A gull calls above, circling, its shadow darting across the sand before gliding over the sea, the breeze lifting your hair as you pause to watch. Remember the fountain where you dipped your fingers into the cool water? The sea here feels like its grand, restless cousin, moving endlessly, breathing in slow, rolling waves that hush against the shore, each one a soft reminder of the world's ancient, steady rhythm. You kneel near the water, letting a wave wash over your hands, the salt water cold but comforting, a brief shock that quickly warms in the sun. The crumbs you still carry in your palm dissolve in the water, spinning away in tiny spirals, caught in the tide, joining the endless dance of the waves. The oracle's words return to you, follow the crumbs, and you realize that even here, where the crumbs vanish, their path continues, carried by the water, moving with the tide, whispering their quiet promise to the sea. You walk along the shoreline, the sand warm, the water cool, the world wide and open around you, the breeze carrying the scent of salt and sun-warmed rocks, each step a soft, slow unfolding of your journey, the sea's hush matching the quiet in your own breath as you continue to walk, gently, calmly, into the day. You leave the beach as the sun climbs higher, the warmth now steady, wrapping around you like a soft, heavy cloak. As you find the path that winds back toward the village, the breeze is still cool enough to carry comfort, brushing against your skin as you walk, the scent of the sea following you inland, mingling with the earthier smells of dry grass and warm stone. You pass small orchards where the branches are heavy with ripening fruit, pomegranates and figs hanging like quiet promises of sweetness, the leaves whispering as the breeze moves through them, each rustle a soft, leafy sigh that calms your mind as you walk. A major historical fact: pomegranates held deep symbolic meaning in Greek culture, associated with Persephone and the changing seasons, representing life, death, and rebirth in a cycle that mirrored the rhythms of nature and the slow, patient unfolding of each year. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that placing a pomegranate near the doorway would bring fertility and prosperity to a household, its many seeds symbolizing abundance and the quiet promise of future blessings. Historians still debate whether these pomegranate traditions were deeply spiritual or simply cultural habits passed quietly through families as a way to mark important moments in the cycle of the seasons. You pause beneath a pomegranate tree, the branches casting shifting patterns of light and shadow over your face, the warm scent of the fruit mixing with the earthy breeze. A single pomegranate falls nearby, its skin splitting softly on the ground, the bright seeds glistening like tiny jewels against the dust. Remember the fig grove where you sat in the dappled light, the sweetness of the fruit grounding you in the moment. Here, the pomegranate's brightness feels like a reminder of that sweetness, of the small, gentle gifts that the world offers if you walk slowly enough to notice them. You pick up the fallen pomegranate, turning it in your hands, feeling the smooth, cool skin, the weight of it grounding you as you stand in the warm light. You take a slow breath, letting the scent of the fruit, the warmth of the day, and the soft rustle of leaves fill your senses. The oracle's voice drifts back like the softest wind. Follow the crumbs, and you realize that each moment, each breath, each small step you take on this path is a crumb in itself, guiding you through the slow, quiet beauty of the day. You continue along the path, the pomegranate in your hands, the breeze carrying the scent of the sea and the orchard, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the hush of the world reminding you that you are exactly where you need to be, walking softly, calmly into the slow unfolding of another ancient, quiet afternoon. You continue along the orchard path, the pomegranate still warm in your hand, its weight a quiet reminder of the morning's slow, patient unfolding. The breeze stirs again, carrying the faint scent of the sea behind you, mingling with the sweetness of the fruit and the dry, comforting warmth of sun-touched earth. You pause to sit beneath an olive tree whose branches shift in the wind, the silver-green leaves catching the light as they whisper against each other. The shade is cool here, a gentle relief from the midday warmth, the air filled with the hum of bees moving lazily from flower to flower, their soft drone a lullaby that seems to slow the world around you. A major historical fact: in many Greek city-states, the olive tree was seen as sacred, particularly in Athens, where it was believed to be a gift from Athena herself, and cutting down an olive tree was punishable by exile. The trees seen as guardians of the city's prosperity. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks would tie small strips of cloth to olive branches when making wishes, believing that the movement of the cloth in the breeze would carry their prayers to the gods. Historians still debate whether these cloth offerings were deeply spiritual acts or small comforting gestures performed during moments of uncertainty and quiet hope. You rest your back against the olive tree's sturdy trunk, feeling the rough bark grounding you, the breeze weaving cool fingers through your hair. The leaves above rustle, letting small drops of light flicker across your closed eyelids, a pattern of gold and shadow dancing softly with the wind's rhythm. Remember the salt water on your hands as the waves washed away the crumbs? Here the air is dry but gentle, the shade of the olive tree a kind of soft embrace, the silence around you broken only by the distant call of birds and the bees' steady hum. You slowly open the pomegranate, the skin splitting under your fingers. revealing the bright seeds within, glistening like tiny red gems. You taste one, its tart sweetness bursting across your tongue, a vivid reminder that even in a world moving slowly, there is sharpness and life waiting quietly in each moment. The oracle's voice drifts back like a breeze. Follow the crumbs, and you realize that each seed, each step, each breath is a crumb guiding you, not toward a single destination, but deeper into the soft, quiet presence of this journey, where even resting under an olive tree becomes part of your gentle path. You let the pomegranate seeds fall softly into your palm, their coolness a small delight, before you stand, stretching, the breeze lifting your hair again as you step back onto the path, walking slowly into the warm, golden light of the afternoon. The path leads you away from the orchard, winding between low stone walls where vines stretch toward the sun, their leaves bright in the light, the air filled with the sharp, sweet scent of grapes ripening on the vine. The breeze carries the scent, mixing it with the faint, comforting warmth of dust and the soft hush of the cicadas singing in the distance. You pass a small vineyard where workers move quietly between the rows, their hands gently lifting bunches of grapes, checking the fruit with practiced eyes. A young boy carries a basket, carefully placing each cluster into it, the grapes glinting in the sun like small treasures, his face serious with concentration that breaks into a quick, shy smile when you nod to him. A major historical fact: wine was central to Greek social and religious life, with symposiums held for discussion and celebration. And Dionysus, the god of wine, was honored with festivals that blended music, dance, and the slow shared joy of community. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that spilling a drop of wine before drinking was necessary to honor the gods and prevent misfortune, a small libation that turned even casual drinking into a quiet ritual. Historians still debate whether these libation rituals were strictly religious or if they became casual customs embedded in daily life, reminding people of the unseen threads that connected them to their gods. You pause near a vine heavy with dark grapes, plucking a single grape and rolling it between your fingers before tasting its sun-warmed sweetness, the juice bright and full, a small, vivid gift that fills your mouth with the sharp taste of the afternoon. Remember the fig tree's shade and the pomegranate's bright seeds? This grape's sweetness joins them, weaving a soft tapestry of small, gentle joys that guide you as you walk, each taste a crumb, each breath a step, each moment part of a quiet, ancient path that unfolds softly around you. The oracle's words return: follow the crumbs. And you realize that the crumbs are not just pieces of bread dropped on a road, but the small, sweet moments you gather like seeds, like grapes, like sunlight on your skin as you walk. The path curves, leading you toward a low hill that rises gently against the sky, the breeze brushing your face, the vineyard's scent fading into the warm air. You take a slow breath, letting the calm of the afternoon fill you as you begin the climb, each step unhurried, each breath soft, each moment carrying you forward, gently, quietly, into the next stretch of your journey. You climb the gentle slope of the low hill, each step pressing softly into the warm earth. The path narrow, but clear, bordered by wildflowers that nod and sway in the late afternoon breeze. The sun leans westward now, the light thick and golden, pouring over the hills and vineyards below, making the world look like it's been dipped in honey. At the crest, You pause to catch your breath, the view opening wide before you. The vineyards stretch out in neat rows, broken here and there by olive groves and the dark shapes of cypress trees, their tall forms like brush strokes against the sky. Beyond, the faint blue of the sea shimmers under the falling sun, its hush echoing up the hill on the wind. A major historical fact: hills like this were often dotted with small shrines in ancient Greece, simple stone altars where travelers would pause to offer a crumb of bread, a splash of wine, or a whispered hope for safe passage and fair weather. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that certain hills were home to shy, wandering spirits who disliked sudden loud noises. Travelers would knock gently on rocks as they passed to announce their presence and avoid startling these unseen companions. Historians still debate whether these rock-knocking customs were widespread or the kind of local superstition that sprang up wherever wind and stone conspired to whisper secrets. You find such a shrine here at the hill's peak, just a low, flat rock with a carved groove in its center, where dried flowers and a few crumbs lie scattered, offerings left by others who passed this way. You add one of your own, brushing the last sticky sweetness of pomegranate seeds from your fingertips as you place them softly in the groove. Remember the olive tree you rested under, its leaves whispering over your head? This shrine feels like the same quiet promise, an agreement between you and the world that your steps are noticed, your soft passing marked by small, gentle signs. You sit on the stone edge beside the shrine, your legs stretched out, the warm rock pressing against your palms as you lean back. The wind tugs at your hair, cool and fragrant with time and the salt of the distant sea. A shepherd's flute drifts up faintly from the valley below, a single note rising and falling like a lullaby carried on the breeze. The oracle's voice comes back to you like that note: follow the crumbs. And you see now that the crumbs are not about finding the shortest way home, but about leaving small pieces of yourself behind. Moments of sweetness, soft pauses, tiny offerings that stitch your quiet path into the slow, sleeping memory of the hills. You breathe deep, the late sunlight sliding over your skin like warm silk. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the hush of the shrine and the slow drone of insects fill your head with a calm so soft you could drift off right here at the top of a hill, watched only by stones, wind, and the drifting music below. You open your eyes again as the sun slips lower, the warm light shifting to deeper golds and soft, bruised violets, shadow stretching long and slow across the hilltop. You rise from the shrine, brushing dust from your clothes, the wind lifting a few stray crumbs from the stone behind you, carrying them off, perhaps to feed a shy spirit or a passing bird that watches you from a thorny bush nearby. The path curves gently down the other side of the hill, leading you into a small hollow where the wind hushes and the air feels cooler, heavy with the scent of wild rosemary and the faint, damp smell of a hidden spring. You hear it before you see it, a soft, bubbling trickle that echoes in the shaded hollow, like a secret whispered into your ear. A major historical fact: springs were sacred places for many Greeks, believed to be the dwelling places of naiads, water nymphs who guarded fresh water sources and were often honored with wreaths of flowers, simple songs, or tiny offerings tossed into the clear pools. An obscure cultural tidbit: some villagers would float crumbs or petals on the surface of a spring, watching how they drifted to divine signs about the weather or future harvests. If the crumbs sank quickly, rain was coming. If it spun away slowly, fair days lay ahead. Historians still debate whether these crumb and petal divinations were respected traditions or just playful moments of wonder for children and curious adults alike. You crouch by the spring, the water so clear you can see each small stone and drifting leaf at its bottom, the surface broken now and then by the faint ripple of a tiny fish. You dip your fingers into the pool, feeling the cold slip around your skin, a brief shock that brings your mind sharply into the moment, then lets it drift again as the chill fades into a soft calm. Remember the salt water of the sea washing over your hands, pulling away your crumbs into the deep. Here, the spring feels like the land's gentle answer. Still water, hidden away, patient and clear, offering you its hush, like a secret you can cup in your palm. You watch a single crumb slip from your fingers into the water, spinning slowly before drifting out of sight among the stones. The oracle's words come again, soft as the gurgle of the spring. Follow the crumbs, and you realize that sometimes the crumbs don't lead you onward at all. They just ask you to pause, to notice the hush, the cold touch, the small swirl of water, carrying your quiet hope away to wherever springs are born. You stand again, the shadows deepening around you as the sun slips lower behind the hill. You take a last look at the spring, the breeze rustling the rosemary, the tiny fish darting in the clear water. Then you step back onto the path, your feet brushing the soft, damp earth, your breath slow and steady, carrying you gently forward into the growing twilight. One calm, quiet crumb at a time, twilight deepens as you leave the hollow of the spring, the path turning cool and shadowed beneath the darkening sky, the air tinged with the scent of damp earth and crushed rosemary beneath your steps. The breeze has stilled, leaving the world in a soft hush, broken only by the distant trill of a nightingale, its clear voice rising like a single candle in the dusk. The hills around you begin to soften into silhouettes, the last glimmers of daylight clinging to the highest branches and the tips of olive leaves, while the first stars tremble faintly above, shy and pale in the violet sky. You pause, looking up, letting your breath match the hush, your shoulders loosening as the world grows quieter around you. A major historical fact: the ancient Greeks used the stars for navigation, agriculture, and stories, with constellations like Orion and the Pleiades guiding farmers on when to plant, and sailors on when to set out or stay ashore, blending the cosmic with the practical in their daily rhythms. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that if you whispered a wish to the first star you saw in the evening, it would carry your hope to the gods, especially if you ended your wish with a breath blown gently toward the sky. Historians still debate whether these whispered star wishes were sincere acts of faith or the kind of small, comforting rituals that made the vast night sky feel a little closer to home. You find a flat rock near the path and sit, letting the coolness of the stone seep into your palms, your eyes fixed on the stars as they brighten, the sky deepening into indigo, then a soft, endless black. The nightingale's song continues, weaving with the quiet chirp of crickets, creating a lullaby that holds the darkness gently, making it less vast, less empty, Remember the fig tree's dappled light and the pomegranate's sweetness. Here under the stars, the memory of those small joys feels like warm embers, carrying their quiet promise into the coolness of night. You pick up a small crumb, pressing it gently between your fingers before setting it on the rock beside you, a tiny offering to the darkness, a soft promise to yourself that you will continue to notice, to pause, to follow even the smallest signs of sweetness in the quiet hours. The oracle's voice drifts back with the rising night breeze. Follow the crumbs, and you breathe out slowly, letting the breath carry upward toward the first star, carrying your quiet wish into the calm, endless hush above. You rise from the rock as night fully settles, the stars bright now, scattered across the dark sky in soft clusters, the constellations shaping themselves into stories you almost remember from childhood. Hunters, bears, silent figures, watching from the heavens as you continue your walk under their patient gaze. The path glows faintly under the moon, the dust reflecting pale silver where your feet pass, the world around you reduced to silhouettes of olive trees, the dark lines of stone walls, and the soft glint of stars on a dew-tipped grass. Each step sounds louder now in the hush, your sandals brushing against pebbles, the sound carrying into the stillness before fading into the night. A major historical fact: the Greeks celebrated many of their festivals under the stars, with evening processions carrying torches through the streets and along sacred paths, their flames dancing in the dark as offerings were made to the gods in thanks for harvests or prayers for health and protection. An obscure cultural tidbit: some believed that moonlight could purify objects left outside overnight, with families placing bowls of water or small personal items under the moon to cleanse them of misfortune or illness. Historians still debate whether these moon purification rituals were widespread beliefs or gentle family customs passed down in the soft hush of nighttime stories. You pause to look up at the moon, its silver light soft on your face, the breeze lifting your hair as you stand, letting your breath match the quiet around you. You notice how, even in darkness, the world holds its own gentle glow, how the moonlight catches the edges of leaves, the surface of stones, the curves of the path ahead, guiding you without words. Remember the spring's hush and the cold water on your hands? Here in the moonlight, there is the same softness, the same quiet promise that even in darkness, there is beauty to guide you, small signs that carry you forward, calmly, gently, into the night. You continue walking, each step slow, deliberate, unhurried, your eyes moving between the path and the stars, letting the moonlight guide you as the oracle's words return, softer than ever. Follow the crumbs, and you do. Each breath a crumb, each step a quiet offering to the night, each moment under the stars a reminder that your journey continues, even in darkness, even in silence, each step carrying you deeper into the soft, sleeping world. One calm, patient moment at a time. The moon climbs higher, its glow turning the path into a ribbon of pale light winding through the silent hills. Each step you take, softly stirring the dust that glints like powdered silver before settling back into the calm earth. The air has cooled, brushing your skin with gentle fingers as you move, carrying the scent of time and distant sea salt, the night alive with quiet sounds, the soft crackle of leaves underfoot, the distant ripple of water, the whisper of wind against dry grass. You pause near a low stone wall, leaning lightly against its cool surface, letting your breath slow as you watch the moonlight dance across the landscape, picking out the curves of hills, the rounded crowns of olive trees, the dark lines of distant cypress standing like sentinels under the stars. A major historical fact: night travel was not uncommon in ancient Greece, especially during pilgrimages to sacred sites, where groups would walk under the moon to avoid the heat of the day, their torches lighting the roads as they sang hymns to the gods. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that dreams dreamt under the open sky held special power, with many choosing to sleep outside on holy nights, hoping to receive guidance from the gods or visions that would answer their unspoken questions. Historians still debate whether these open sky dream practices were deeply spiritual experiences or simply born from the practical coolness and beauty of sleeping under the stars. You find a flat, grassy spot near the path, the scent of crushed thyme rising softly as you lower yourself to sit, letting the night wrap around you, the stars overhead shimmering like watchful eyes. The breeze stirs your hair, the sound of your breath joining the soft rustle of leaves as you let yourself rest for a moment, grounded by the earth, soothed by the hush of the moonlit world. Remember the hilltop where you left a crumb on the altar, the breeze carrying your breath toward the stars? Here, too, you let out a soft breath, watching it curl in the cool air, feeling the invisible connection between yourself and the silent sky above. The oracle's voice is a whisper now, like the night wind. Follow the crumbs, and you realize the crumbs are here, too, in the stars overhead, in the soft earth beneath you, in the breath that leaves your lips, carrying your quiet wishes upward into the moonlit hush. You lie back on the grass, the world above wide and deep, the stars scattered in patterns that feel both familiar and endless, your breath slowing, your body sinking gently into the earth, the calm night around you holding you softly, a gentle cradle that invites you to rest before you continue your journey. When you wake, the sky has shifted from deep black to a softer navy, the edges of the horizon touched with the faintest blush of dawn, a quiet promise that the world is ready to turn once more. You sit up slowly, the dew cool on your skin, the scent of damp earth rising as you move, your breath visible in the crisp air before it vanishes into the quiet morning. Birdsong begins, hesitant at first, then gathering strength, a soft chorus that weaves with the rustle of the breeze as it stirs the leaves, the night's hush giving way to the gentle awakening of another day. You stand, brushing dew from your hands, the grass leaving small droplets that glisten in the dawn light like tiny stars clinging to your skin. A major historical fact: dawn was considered a sacred time in Greek culture, with Eos, the goddess of the dawn, honored in hymns as she opened the gates of heaven for the sun to rise, her rosy fingers pulling the light across the sky. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that washing one's face with the dew of dawn would bring beauty and protection for the day ahead. Soft, simple ritual tied to the hope that the fresh light of morning would carry blessings. Historians still debate whether this dew-washing practice was rooted in spiritual belief or was simply a gentle way to wake with the morning, connecting the body to the freshness of the new day. You walk slowly down the dew-wet path, your feet leaving quiet impressions in the soft earth the world around you glowing in shades of pale gold and cool blue as the light strengthens, the breeze carrying the scent of wet grass and distant rosemary from hidden gardens, waking with the sun. Remember the spring where you cupped cool water in your hands? The dew now feels like its soft cousin, blessing your skin as you move, each droplet a small reminder of the world's gentle kindness, each breath in the crisp air, a crumb you follow toward the light. The oracle's voice drifts back with the dawn breeze. Follow the crumbs, and you smile softly, realizing that you have been, all along, in every quiet step, every small breath, every pause to watch the stars, each moment a piece of the path, unfolding softly beneath your feet. As the sun lifts over the hills, you continue, your steps unhurried, the warmth touching your face, your shoulders, the light turning the dew into tiny sparks that fade as they lift into the warming air. The birdsong rises around you, the breeze stirs gently, and you walk calmly, quietly, into the soft, golden promise of another day. The sun climbs steadily now, casting long, gentle rays across the hills and valleys, each blade of grass catching the light, each olive leaf shimmering softly in the breeze. You walk along a path that curves toward a small village, stirring awake under the warming sky, smoke beginning to rise in thin, blue threads from clay chimneys as fires are kindled for morning meals. The scent of bread baking returns, warm and comforting, drifting on the breeze as you pass small homes where roosters call. Children's voices chatter sleepily, and the quiet rhythms of daily life begin anew. A dog trots past you, pausing to sniff the air before continuing on its morning rounds, its paws leaving soft prints in the dusty road. A major historical fact: bread was the staple of the Greek diet, with various types made from barley or wheat, often mixed with herbs or olive oil, and baked in clay ovens that also warmed homes during cool mornings. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that the first loaf baked in the morning should be blessed with a quiet word of thanks before it was broken, as a gesture of gratitude to Demeter, goddess of grain, ensuring continued nourishment for the household. Historians still debate whether this morning blessing was a universal practice or a quiet family tradition, whispered softly while the first warm loaf was lifted from the oven. You pause near a small bakery, watching a woman lift a round loaf from a clay oven, steam rising in the cool air, the scent rich and grounding. She catches your eye and smiles, tearing a small piece from the loaf and handing it to you without a word, her gesture warm and simple, a kindness passed from one traveler to another. Remember the pomegranate seeds you tasted, each one bright with sweetness? This piece of warm bread, soft in your hand, carries a different kind of comfort, the simple, quiet promise of nourishment. As you continue on your path, you taste the bread, the warmth of it spreading through you, the herbs mixed within, leaving a soft, earthy flavor on your tongue as you walk, the morning unfolding gently around you. The oracle's voice whispers with the breeze, follow the crumbs, and you realize that each bite, each breath, each small kindness you accept is another crumb leading you forward. You leave the village as the day brightens, the air warming, the breeze lifting softly as you walk past gardens waking under the sun. The scent of rosemary, thyme, and basil weaving with the sweetness of morning air. Each step quiet, unhurried, a gentle continuation of your journey under the clear blue sky. The path leads you toward the fields, where the wheat moves in golden waves under the light breeze, each stalk swaying in a soft, rustling dance that whispers with the morning air. The scent of warm earth rises as you walk, the sky wide and bright above you, the world around you, opening with the promise of a new day. You pass a shepherd guiding his flock along the edge of the field, his staff tapping lightly against the stones as the sheep move with quiet bleats, the soft sound of their hooves blending with the rustle of the grain. The shepherd nods to you as you pass, his face lined but kind, his eyes reflecting the calm of the morning. A major historical fact. Sheep herding was a central part of the Greek rural economy, providing wool, milk, and meat, and shepherds often spent long days and nights in the hills, guiding their flocks through changing seasons while watching the stars for signs of weather and time. An obscure cultural tidbit. Some Greeks believed that if you whispered a wish into a sheep's wool before shearing, the wish would travel with the wool and return fulfilled, carried back to the household in the form of a new garment. Historians still debate whether this sheep wish practice was a rural superstition or a comforting ritual for families living closely with the rhythms of their animals and the land. You pause to watch the sheep move, their white wool glowing softly in the sunlight, the sound of the shepherd's flute drifting over the fields, a soft, simple melody that carries on the breeze, joining the rustle of the grain and the call of birds overhead. Remember the time you brushed your hands through, the scent clinging to your skin. The morning breeze through the wheat carries that same soft promise, blending the scents of the field with the warmth of the sun, reminding you of the gentle abundance that lies in noticing each small detail as you move. You walk past the fields, the path curving gently as the breeze lifts the stalks into small waves, the light catching in flashes of gold, the soft hush of the world holding you calmly as you continue. The oracle's voice drifts back. Follow the crumbs, reminding you that each breath in this warm, golden field is another crumb, another quiet step toward the next moment. As you leave the fields, the wheat rustles behind you like a soft farewell, the breeze shifting as you step into the shade of an olive grove, the coolness meeting the warmth of your skin, grounding you, guiding you, as you walk softly, quietly, into the calm promise of the late morning. The olive grove greets you with its hush, the branches arching overhead in patterns of silver green, the light filtering through in gentle dapples across the dusty path. The air here is cooler, carrying the soft scent of olives and warm earth, the breeze moving quietly through the leaves, creating a soft, steady whisper that soothes as you walk. You pass low stone walls, where moss grows in the shaded cracks, and small lizards dart across the warm stones, pausing to watch you before disappearing into the leaves. The grove feels timeless, a quiet world within the world, where the rustle of leaves and the occasional call of a dove are the only sounds that rise and fall with the slow rhythm of your breath. A major historical fact. Olive oil was essential to ancient Greek life, used for cooking, lighting lamps, anointing the body, and in religious rituals. With groves carefully tended across generations, the trees themselves often considered sacred, protected by law and community reverence. An obscure cultural tidbit. Some Greeks believed that sleeping with an olive leaf under one's pillow would bring peaceful dreams and protection from restless spirits, a small, quiet assurance for those living close to the slow, whispering life of the groves. Historians still debate whether these leaf under pillow practices were widespread or simply local customs, small comforts passed down as bedtime stories. Under the rustle of olive branches, you pause, reaching up to touch a low branch, the leaves soft and cool under your fingers, the quiet around you deepening as the breeze stirs, carrying the scent of the olives and the warm dust of the path. Remember the bread you tasted in the village, its warmth grounding you. Here, the olive tree offers a different kind of comfort, a reminder of stillness, of patient growth, of the gentle strength that comes from simply remaining. You find a small stone to sit on, letting your breath slow, the hush of the grove wrapping around you like a soft cloak, the dappled light shifting as the breeze moves the branches. The oracle's voice drifts back softly. Follow the crumbs, and you realize that these moments of pause, of quiet, of soft breath under the rustling leaves are as much a part of the journey as each step on the path. You stand, brushing the dust from your hands, your steps quiet as you leave the grove, the light brightening as you emerge, the warmth of the day meeting you again, each breath steady, each step calm as you continue softly into the wide waiting light. The path leads you toward the hills again, rising gently under the midday sun, the warmth settling on your shoulders, your shadow walking beside you, stretching and shortening with the curve of the road. The cicadas sing steadily, their song blending with the breeze, the scent of wild herbs crushed beneath your sandals, rising softly into the warm air. You pause to drink from a small clay cup, the water cool and clear, each sip refreshing, grounding you in the warmth of the day, the quiet promise of continuing on, unhurried, as the world moves gently around you. A major historical fact: water was a precious resource in ancient Greece, with fountains and wells often dedicated to nymphs or gods, and travelers offering small tokens or whispered thanks before taking water, acknowledging the life the springs provided. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that certain springs held prophetic powers, and that if you drank from them, under the right conditions, you might receive visions or dreams guiding your future choices. Historians still debate whether these prophetic springs were widely accepted, or if only certain local traditions held them in this quiet, mystical regard. You set the cup down near the fountain, watching the water ripple under the breeze, the light catching on the small waves, turning them into flickers of gold before they settle again. Remember the stream you paused at, the water cool on your hands. This fountain feels like a relative of that quiet place, a reminder of the gentle, life-giving hush of water, of its calm and quiet promise. The oracle's voice drifts back with the warm breeze. Follow the crumbs, and you realize that each sip of water, each pause to feel its coolness, is a crumb too, guiding you softly along the path, reminding you that the journey is made of small moments of care, of nourishment, of noticing the quiet gifts the world offers you. You continue walking as the hills rise around you, the path curving between rocks and tufts of dry grass, the sky wide and blue overhead, the breeze stirring the scent of rosemary and thyme, the cicadas singing, your breath steady, your steps calm, carrying you gently into the warmth of the early afternoon. Each step a quiet promise kept. The early afternoon sun bathes the hills in a soft, golden haze, the light shimmering on the stones that edge the path, the warmth sinking into your skin as you walk. The breeze moves lazily, stirring the tall grasses into rippling waves, carrying the faint, sweet scent of wildflowers that bloom in pockets of color among the rocks. You pause beneath a lone cypress tree, its dark silhouette reaching toward the sky, its shadow falling cool and slender across the path. The quiet here is deep. The only sounds the soft brush of grass against your sandals and the distant, rhythmic call of a woodpecker echoing across the hills. A major historical fact. The cypress tree was associated with Hades in Greek culture, often planted near tombs and sacred sites, symbolizing the connection between life and death. The tall, dark trees standing as silent sentinels over the shifting boundaries of the mortal world. An obscure cultural tidbit. Some Greeks believed that carrying a small piece of cypress wood could ward off bad dreams. The scent of the wood, a quiet talisman against restless nights. Historians still debate whether the use of cypress as a protective charm was a personal superstition or a reflection of deeper beliefs about the tree's connection to the realms of spirit and sleep. You lean against the tree's sturdy trunk, letting your breath slow, the resinous scent of the cypress mingling with the warm air, grounding you as you stand. Remember the olive grove's hush, the rustle of leaves, like soft whispers. Here, the silence is deeper, a cool, quiet calm that steadies your breath and softens your shoulders. You close your eyes, feeling the breeze move around you, the light shifting as a cloud passes across the sun, the warmth returning as it moves on, the world holding its quiet rhythm as you pause. The oracle's voice drifts back, softer now. Follow the crumbs, reminding you that even moments of stillness are part of the path, part of the quiet journey you're taking. One gentle breath at a time, you open your eyes, the hills bright again under the sun, the grasses moving in slow waves, the path ahead curving softly into the distance, inviting you onward, calmly, quietly, as you step forward, your breath steady, your mind quiet, your journey continuing beneath the vast, open sky. The path begins to descend, winding down toward a small valley where the land flattens into meadows scattered with clusters of poppies and small white daisies nodding in the breeze. The air here feels different, carrying the scent of warm earth and flowering grass, the gentle hum of bees drifting like soft music across the afternoon. A shepherd's dog barks in the distance, the sound clear and sharp, before fading back into the soft rustle of the breeze, the chirping of hidden insects, and the gentle hush that seems to rise from the earth itself. You pass a low stone wall, pausing to rest your hand on its warm surface, feeling the roughness of the rock, the way it has been shaped by weather and time. A major historical fact. Meadows and plains were often used for festivals in ancient Greece, with open spaces allowing communities to gather for games, music, and offerings to the gods. The fields filled with laughter and song under the bright sky. An obscure cultural tidbit. Some Greeks believed that if you lay in a meadow during the first full moon of spring, you would receive dreams of clarity for the year ahead, the scent of flowers, and the moonlight opening your mind to gentle insights. Historians still debate whether this meadow moon practice was a structured ritual or a quiet, personal tradition carried out by individuals seeking peace and direction. You pause in the meadow, the grasses brushing softly against your legs. As you kneel to touch the small, bright flowers, their petals warm from the sun, their colors vivid against the soft green around them. Remember the pomegranate seeds, the warm bread, the cool spring water. Here, in the meadow, each memory feels like a thread woven into the warmth of the day, carrying you softly through your journey. You lie back in the grass, letting the earth support you, the scent of the flowers rising with the warmth, the clouds drifting slowly across the sky, the breeze moving gently over your face. The oracle's voice returns, soft as the breeze. Follow the crumbs, reminding you that each pause, each breath in the warmth and light is a crumb guiding you toward calm and quiet. You watch the sky, the blue deepening as the afternoon stretches on, the soft hush of the meadow around you, holding you gently, reminding you that you are allowed to rest, to breathe, to simply be, before you rise again, to continue, calmly, quietly, into the slow, warm glow of the approaching evening. The afternoon begins its gentle slide into evening, the light softening into honeyed gold as the breeze cools, stirring the meadow's grasses into slow waves that catch the last warmth of the day. You rise from the soft earth, brushing petals from your hands, the scent of crushed flowers following you as you step back onto the path. Your breath steady, your shoulders loose, your steps quiet. The sky above shifts from bright blue to a softer hue, hints of rose and amber touching the clouds that drift lazily across the wide expanse, the birds calling softly as they return to their nests, their songs weaving into the hush of the approaching night. A major historical fact: as dusk approached, many Greek communities would light small lamps filled with olive oil, their soft flames illuminating homes and streets. The light a gentle invitation for neighbors to gather, share stories, and mark the quiet end of another day under the watchful glow of the gods. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that whispering a wish into the flame of the evening lamp would carry that wish upward with the smoke, a final soft prayer before the calm of night arrived. Historians still debate whether this lamp wish practice was a spiritual tradition or simply a comforting ritual, a small act of hope passed quietly from day to day. You pause to watch as a woman lights a small clay lamp outside her doorway, the flame flickering in the softening breeze, the light dancing gently on the stone path as the shadows grow longer around you. Remember the dawn dew on your skin, the moon's hush over the hills. Here, the flame's small glow joins those memories. Another crumb in the quiet trail you have followed, each moment a small promise that the light continues even as the day ends. The oracle's voice drifts with the breeze. Follow the crumbs, reminding you that the flame is a crumb too, a small, warm guide into the soft hush of evening. You walk on, the light from doorways flickering softly as you pass, the path gently guiding you onward under the first pale glow of the stars. Your breath calm, your mind quiet, your journey continuing softly into the coming night. The sky deepens into twilight, the last colors of the day fading into a deep, soft indigo as the first stars brighten overhead, each one appearing like a quiet promise in the wide, darkening sky. The air cools further, brushing against your face with the scent of night-blooming flowers, the gentle hush of evening settling across the hills and valleys, the world around you slowing into its night rhythm. You walk toward a small rise, pausing to look back at the path you have walked, each memory, a crumb of pomegranate, a sip of spring water, the scent of thyme, the hush of olive groves, the warmth of bread, the coolness of dawn, woven into the quiet tapestry of your journey, each breath a thread connecting you to the gentle unfolding of each moment. A major historical fact. In ancient Greece, many families would gather in the cool of the evening to share simple meals, stories, and laughter under the stars. The end of the day marked not by rush, but by the soft, communal quiet of shared presence. An obscure cultural tidbit: some Greeks believed that counting stars before bed would invite calm dreams, the quiet focus of looking upward, helping the mind ease into the softness of sleep. Historians still debate whether this star-counting practice was widespread or simply a gentle bedtime ritual whispered to children under the hush of the night sky. You sit on a warm stone as the night fully arrives, the stars bright above, the breeze carrying the soft scent of earth and herbs, the distant hum of insects blending with the quiet rustle of the leaves. The oracle's voice drifts softly. Follow the crumbs, and you realize you have each breath, each step, each small pause a crumb, guiding you gently toward this moment of calm. You lie back, letting the cool night air meet your warm skin, the stars above, bright and patient, the earth beneath you steady and kind, the world around you holding its quiet hush as you let your breath slow, your eyes close, your body soften, your journey finding its soft, calm pause beneath the starlit sky. And now, as you lie beneath the patient stars, let your breath become slower, softer, as the night wraps itself gently around you. Feel the warmth of the earth beneath you, holding you, steady and quiet, as the cool breeze moves across your skin, carrying the faint, comforting sense of thyme and warm stone, of dew and soft grasses, of the hush that comes when the world decides to rest. The cicada's song has quieted into a gentle hush, the night-blooming flowers releasing their subtle fragrance, the stars overhead glowing softly, reminders of the quiet vastness above you. Each breath is calm, unhurried, each exhale a soft release, letting go of the day, letting go of the steps you have walked, letting your body ease into the comforting silence of the night. Remember the flame in the clay lamp, the warm bread, the cool spring water, the soft rustle of olive leaves, the hush of the fig tree's shade, the pomegranate's sweetness, each a crumb you followed, each a soft promise that you're exactly where you need to be in this moment, under this quiet sky. Let your thoughts drift like clouds across the stars, slow and calm, dissolving into the darkness, leaving only the softness of breath, the gentle weight of your body resting on the earth, the warmth of the day fading into the cool comfort of the night. You have followed the crumbs, and now, in this gentle hush, you are invited to rest. Let your breath become slower, your body softer, your mind quiet, as you drift into the calm embrace of sleep held by the quiet earth, watched over by the stars. Each breath a soft, quiet promise that you can simply be here, now, softly, calmly, at peace.